What's going on, YouTube? Wow, we already have 2 people in here before it even started. What the heck? So, what's going on? Oh, not bad, man. Dang it. I can never get a good connection. I think it's Verizon throttling back my service, but I don't know for sure what the deal is with that. But I'm going to share this out real quick. What's going on, Trucker Logic, Neo? So I'll be back in like 5 seconds. Just give me a second to get this out. How about now? Nope, never a good connection. Never good anything. Yeah, we got all the blue lights on. And don't forget to give a thumbs up when you get in and watch the show. So I'm here in Kingman, Arizona. I just got stopped for the night. I have 550 miles to go by Monday. So I got a little bit of trucking to do. Yeah, live from the woodshed. What's going on, guys? What's going on, Chad? What's going on, Adam? So tonight I'm going to talk about why having a 5-year business plan is suicide. Okay, so before we get started, we'll wait for a few people to get in here, and then at the end we will do some Q&A, as long as my connection is somewhat decent. It cuts in and out all the time. I can't seem to get good service. It's just Verizon cutting back my data. No matter what I do, I always get screwed on live feeds. So it's really aggravating. But I still try to put the information out here for you guys. So as long as you're willing to bear with the interruptions from Verizon, then we'll be good. So I guess we're not going to get too many people in here. So I'll just go ahead and start, and you guys can watch this on the replay if it comes through. Well, basically, running a business is a very dynamic atmosphere. There is hardly anything that is finite in business. That is for sure. That is, yep, this is absolutely the way it's gonna be forever. There's very few things that are like that. Things are always changing in business, especially trucking business. For example, if you made a 5-year plan 3 years ago, if you made a 5-year plan 3 years ago that did not include the use of electronic logging devices, you would be having some serious headaches right about now, right? If you did not plan for this, okay? If you have trucks that do not have an engine older than 2000, you have to put the ELD in the truck, right? If you didn't plan for that, if you decided, oh, I'm going to do a 5-year plan for my business, and you didn't set it up for using ELDs, now you have a headache because there may be a shortage of ELDs, etc., etc. You guys know the whole story there, or you should by now. It's been beaten with a freaking Negan's baseball bat, right? Over and over, dead horse. So, what you should be doing when you're creating a business plan for your business is realizing that it is dynamic, and you shouldn't really be coming up with a connection here. You shouldn't really be coming up with a full-on business plan that's longer than 1 year. Okay, so every year you go through and you say, okay, and even every quarter of that year, okay, you go through and you say, okay, this is what we're going to do this quarter. Okay, so at the beginning of the year or near the end of the year, which is why this is a good topic for right now, is because we're almost to the end of the year. You want to look at your business at the end of the year and say, what do I want to do next year? Okay, what are my goals? What are we going to actually do next year? Okay, and you break that up into quarters. Okay, what are we going to do first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter? You don't want to go much further than that, because number one, technology. Okay, the advancements in technology are exponential. More and more technology comes out every month, even. Okay, just with the ELD. Before, an ELD used to cost you I might just have to do this offline. I might have to do this offline because the connection sucks. You know, an ELD used to cost you $6,000, right? You can now get an ELD for $20 a month. That's it. 20 bucks, you're set up. Okay, or $100, right? ELD, $100. They used to be $6,000. Okay, this is how things change. So, at the end of every year, you want to go through, say, what you want to say, what are we going to do next year? Okay, so I already had that set up in my head, what I want to do for next year. Okay, I don't know exactly how it's going to be broken down by quarter just yet, because it depends on the revenue you make. It depends on changes in technology, changes in the equipment that you're going to purchase, changes in the laws, regulations. All these things affect your business. And if you set up a 5-year plan, more than likely, and you follow that 5-year plan to the T, no deviation, more likely than not, you're much more likely to go out of business doing that. If you follow a 5-year plan to the T, you don't change it, you say, nope, this is it, this is what we're doing for the next 5 years, period. That's business suicide. Don't do that, okay? Because business is a dynamic situation. This is pretty much common sense, but it's something that a lot of people don't even understand, okay? Most people who are in business understand, okay, I need a business plan. I have to have some sort of idea of where the company is going in the future. So to get a better sense of that, you need to do this every year. It doesn't have to be some formal thing, big pain in the butt. It could just be on a scratch pad that you write down what your goals are going to be for the following year and each quarter. Just break it up. Okay, me personally, I know I want to add at least 4 trucks next year. That is my goal. If I add more than that, that would be awesome. If I add less than that, not so awesome, but still okay, right? So that means I have to break up, okay, I want to add trucks next year. That means each quarter I need to add a truck. So if I want to add 4 trucks next year, I have to say, okay, by the end of March, I need to add a truck, right? By the end of June, I need to add another truck. By the end of August, I need to add another truck. And then before November, I need to add the last one, okay? Because you don't really want to add new drivers during the holidays. It's a complete mess. Yes, so you set up your base guideline for a year, okay? You just reevaluate your business every month, every day, and every quarter, right? Just see which direction am I going. Is this working? Is it not working? If it is working, continue doing that until it doesn't work anymore, then change or adapt before you realize something is about to not work the way it used to, okay? Just like with this situation. Paper lugs are no longer a... What's going on, Ray? I don't know if it's that great. I don't know how the signal is on your guys' end. I don't have a second phone to check it. But, you know, it's just you got to make sure that you are willing to change your business plan at any minute. Okay? A business plan is not something that you write in stone. And that's something that I think a lot of people don't understand. If you make a business plan, it's a goal. It's what we really want to do. Signal's not too bad. It keeps going red screen on me though, so I don't know if I should stop talking when it goes red or not. So it's driving me nuts. I got the Wii Boost set up and everything, but pretty much I might have to just delete this and do this as a recorded video because it's driving me crazy and I'm losing my train of thought. I get about 10 seconds of talking and then it goes red screen on me. But let's test it out here. How many trucks do I have now? 3. So I'm running 3 trucks right now. And the way I'm looking at the numbers, I should be able to add at least 1 truck per quarter. If I bust my ass, really hustle, and make as much as I can with the woodshed, I should be able to add 1 quarter as long as this truck doesn't break down. If this truck decides to break down, then I'll be set back a little bit. But if this one breaks down, but for the most part, it looks like I should be able to add 1 truck per quarter, which is a goal, my goal, right, for the year. And then the next year, I can kind of project that I want to add 8 trucks, so 2 trucks per quarter in 2019. But I don't want to even talk about 2019, right? Because now I'm getting way too far out as far as the business plan. I have no idea anybody else, okay? I have no idea what's going to happen in 2018. So how can I plan for 2019 if I don't know what's going to happen in 2018? So you see, coming up with a 5-year business plan is suicide, and it's pointless. Don't get caught in that trap of, oh, I need to know what I'm doing for the next 5 years. No, you don't. You need to know what you're doing today, and you need to know what you're doing tomorrow. Other than that, you don't need to know much further than that. Okay. By the quarter, by the half year, by the year. I'm going to go ahead and take Q&A. If you guys have any questions for me tonight, feel free to put those in. This is going to be a shorter live feed because the signal is driving me crazy. You need to find people that treat the company as their own and have the drive as you do to grow the company. It's really hard to do that, you know. So you're looking for cent per mile guys. No, I pay salary. I pay my guys a starting pay, a minimum of $960 a week gross. Okay, so that's $50,000 a year. That includes the weeks. That includes the weeks that they aren't working, or if the truck's broke down, whatever, they still get paid. So we start at 50 grand a year. It goes up from there based on experience level, and you know, there's a probationary period. So if, you know, I look at you for the first 6 months and everything is pretty much down there perfect, you didn't make any mistakes, you didn't have any issues, now we're going to give you a raise. Okay, so I have to have that probationary period in there just to make sure that the driver is doing everything they're supposed to do. And you know, 6 months I think is a deep, you know, enough time to try to realize how good a driver's going. What's going on, Prime Driver Jacob? What's going on, man? So yeah, the 5-year business plan, don't do that. Don't get caught in that trap. Don't even think about what you're doing 5 years from now. Think about what you're going to do the next quarter. Okay, think about what you're going to do the first half of the year and the second half of the year. And when you reach those goals, okay, when you reach your goal for the first quarter, now you can focus on the goal for the second quarter. Okay, you have to focus on what's going on right now in the business, and you have to make changes accordingly. Okay, so there's an ebb and flow to it. It's always changing. You have to be ready when the technology is newer, when these electronic trucks come out. you have to decide, is that something that makes sense for my business, right? For me, I think it will. I think it will make sense to buy automatic trucks. Okay, this is going away. The shifter is a thing of the past. The automatic trucks, fuel economy, right? So that's what we're gonna buy, is automatic trucks, because they get better fuel economy, right? And they're just as well equipped as this, and they do the job the same. So you have to look at things like that in this business and any other business. This could apply to any business. You have to look at the way technology is being upgraded, the equipment you use to do your job, the tools and things that you need, and training. Everything has to change. Okay? You can't be doing what they did in 1970 and expect it to work for today. Okay? If you run your business like it's 1970, I'm gonna have to repeat myself, but if you run your business like it's 1970 or even 10 years ago, if you run your business like it's 2000 or 1999, don't expect that to work today. It's 2017. It's about to be 2018. The technology we have at our fingertips to do this job is so much more advanced than it was just 5 years ago. So, don't get caught in that trap of, living in the past when it comes to your business. Okay? You have everything's up to date and up to speed with how things are changing. Someone said, Woody, I have a question. Go ahead and ask your question. I'm reading the comments as they come in. Newer trucks are great. Okay. You have to maintain these things properly. Is RST and Success Leasing working together to offer ACE2 lease to RST drivers? Not at this time. That might be something in the future, but right now, the lease program through RST is all our program. Now, if you're already on an ACE lease program through Prime, you can bring that truck over to RST, but it's not through RST that they're getting it. I'm a comp owner, bud, and 3 years ago I'm a company owner, and 3 years ago I bought my first truck, and I say all the wise is, if you can get guys who act like you and want to grow it so they can get out of truck money like you do, see the full picture. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great to find guys that understand your goals as a business owner and what you want to do so that you can provide more to your drivers, right? That's ultimately the goal, is to be able to pay the drivers more, okay? But they have to perform. They have to do the job correctly, and you guys know that. Like, if they don't perform properly, then I can't afford to pay them more. Someone's asking me a question about lot lizards. There's no lot lizards here, man. Not that I know of. I haven't seen one in a while now. Anyways, finding drivers that care about your business as much as you do is almost impossible. It sounds great, but in reality, is it going to happen? It's very rare, okay? I have, what drivers really care about is getting paid, okay? They expect your business to be operating properly so that they can get paid. The worst thing you can ever do to a driver is tell them, sorry, man, I can't make payroll this week, right? Other than that, the drivers aren't really going to care about your business except for the fact that, did I get a paycheck this week? If the answer is yes, more than likely the driver's going to be happy as long as everything else. We got some trolls in here. We got some trolls in here tonight too. But if you guys are catching this on the replay, feel free to leave a comment below. You know, focus on the 1-year business plan, not the 5-year, okay? Break it up by quarters. Figure out what you're going to do each quarter of the year to grow your business or to change your business so that it makes more money. This is not the same as having a 5-year goal. Like, say I set a goal for 5 years from now, I want to have 50 trucks, right? I can set that goal. I can sit here and say, okay, 5 years from now, I want to have at least 50 trucks. I can say that. That's not a business plan. That's just a goal. So you can set a 5-year goal to hit, a very general thing. But don't do a 5-year business plan, okay? You have to make sure that everything you're doing day by day, month by month, week by week, etc., is adapting and changing in the right ways, okay? Like I said, if you run this business like it's 1970, you're going to have problems. How much experience do you need to join my team? Right now, we just had the insurance change, so I talked to Chris about what we want to do for it, and pretty much what we came up with is 18 months experience with a CDL Class A, and that should be a good amount for a driver to have, because we don't want to just throw anybody in a truck. That's not our goal. Okay, our goal is to provide a better environment for the drivers that already have a good amount of experience, that want a better place that is less stressful and make them more money. Okay, so, but 18 months, with 18 months experience, it should have at least been through 1 winter, and that is also expected to have a clean MVR, no at-fault, you know, preventable accidents, etc., stuff like that. Woody, can you speak on a 1-truck operation, as in starting on my own and being successful in 1 truck? Sure, absolutely. So the difference between running a 1-truck operation to you're getting banned for that, because I just don't have time for you. Anyway, so with a 1-truck operation, you always have to work. Signal is shitty. With a 1-truck operation, you always have to work. With a volume business, and I'm going to do another video talking about volume business. With a volume business, you don't always have to work. With a 1-truck operation, you will always, guaranteed, be exchanging your time directly for money. Okay? So, if you just want to run 1 truck, basically what you're doing... the stupid signal. Basically what you're doing with 1 truck is you're buying yourself a job, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You're self-employed. Being self-employed is a great thing. But if you want to go further than that, if you want to be able to have more freedom than just exchanging your time for money, you have to build something bigger than 1 truck. Okay, so with 1 truck being successful, you have to shop for your fuel. Okay, you have to try to get the best mile per gallon you can. You have to try paying freight that you can. You want to have minimal fees for... If you have to for a while, lease your truck onto a company that already has systems in place, such as fuel discounts, tire discounts, repair discounts, shop availability, roadside assistance. All of those things are important factors to have to help bring your operating costs down. Okay? Yes, you want the highest paying freight possible for whatever it is you pull. Reefer, flatbed, tanker, whatever it is you pull, you want the best rates possible, but you also need consistency. You need to have the truck rolling. There is no minimum amount of work between the days that my drivers have to, when they're on the road. They stay out 3 weeks, they get home, they get a full 3 days off. Now, they can stay out longer if they decide. Now, there's no mileage requirements. There's no days worked requirements. They utilize the ELD, their hours of service that they can use on running recap hours, and they run about 2,500 to 3,000 miles a week. Okay, it's pretty average. You know, we look at it, it's probably about 100,000 miles a year each driver will run. Okay, so if they run 100,000 miles a year and we're starting them at $50,000, that's 50 cents per mile. Okay, that's a pretty good ballpark of what a driver is going to do in a year as an OTR operation. 100,000 miles is pretty average. Now, if they do more than that, look at the numbers and I'll say, hey, this driver deserves more money. So let's, you know, if this driver worked harder than 100,000 miles, then yeah, let's raise their pay. Okay, but I have to be able to see that data before I can make that decision. ELDs, it's just what you have to have. You know, I'm neither for nor against the ELD. You know, it is what it is. We have it. It works fine for us. We make good money. Whatever. Can you dispatch yourself? You can if you choose to. Or you mean here at RST? At RST, they don't have that availability yet, but we're working on some stuff in the near future to add different types of freight where drivers can pick off a load board or whatever. As an owner-op at RST, in the future, we will have that availability. It takes time to build those things up, though, and that's one of the things we're working on. So in the future, yes, that will be a possibility. At this current time, yet, but we're looking forward to that in the near future. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on the question earlier. So as a one truck operation, being successful in one truck is completely depends on your hustle. Okay, if you want to be successful with one truck, it's going to take all the hustle you have. Okay, seriously. This is not something that you can take light or expect the money to just come in. A business that just generates revenue all the time, even when you're at home. Okay, so the business makes money whether I run my truck or not. How much money is much lower if I'm not running, but the business still turns a profit if I park my truck and I have to go take care of something. Okay, that's the most important thing. Having that freedom to take time off so you can focus on something that needs your attention is really important to. So I had just this one truck for 5 years, 6 years. Okay, I didn't start actually growing my fleet until this year. Okay, I added 2 trucks this year, which is half of what I want to add next year. So every year I'm hoping to double the amount of trucks that I can add. And over time, you see, 5 years from now, it would be doable to have 50 trucks on my own fleet, right? It's just going to take the hustle I have to get there, and I'm willing to do that. More questions. I'm just watching my Chiefs and trying not to die. What's going on E Street? So did you stay out 3 weeks, home 1 week? I stay out months at a time. Like I said, this takes, if you want to grow a business, if you legitimately want to grow a fleet, it's going to take all the hustle you have. Every hour that you have available on your hours of service, you got to be running. You got to be planning on those plans. Okay, just coming up with the plan doesn't mean anything if you don't execute it. Okay, so you have to execute what you plan. Drive. So for 5+ years, I drove 3 months at a time, 10 days off. I would stay out for 3 months, go home for 10 days. Stay out for 3 months, Go home for 10 days. I did that for 5 years straight to get to where I am right now. That's what it takes. I did a lease purchase. You can do something else. Okay? It doesn't matter. That's, you know, it's going to take you at least 5 years to build something that allows you to have the level of freedom where you can actually start growing and focusing on growth instead of worrying about, crap, a tire blew, I'm not going to have a check this week. Like, you have to put in that time. You have to put in that work. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not, you know, being successful is defined by the user, okay? Everyone has a different definition of success. For example, your definition of success might be you made $40,000 a year profit, take home. My definition of success is much higher than that. Okay, so it all depends on what level you want to be at. Okay, you don't have to do what I'm doing. I'm just showing you what I'm doing for those that want to know, that want to. Okay, because not everybody wants to be an owner-op, and should not be an owner-op. Most people should not be an owner-op. Okay, so it's not for everybody, and you know, it's not for everybody in my audience to do what I'm doing. But I like to share this stuff because there are a select few of you out there that are executing your plans and you are reaching your goals and you are being successful because you are putting in the hustle that it takes to get there. Those are the people that I'm trying to reach. Everybody else, you know, if you get what I put out here, great. If you don't, great. If no live feeds before then, wishing you a Merry Christmas. I have a video coming out next week on something special I got for the truck. So I have a product review video coming out very soon. I'm just waiting for a few things to come through, and then I'll be able to upload that video. But I have another video that's already ready to go, and I just can't release it yet. Alright, but I appreciate that. Merry Christmas as well. Would you ever get both 780s? Not likely, but still getting red screen here. As my business grows and as things change, as technology changes, availability of shops changes, stuff like that, it might make sense to add Volvos in the future. I don't know at this point. Am I going to add a Volvo as my next truck? No. I can tell you that for sure. My next truck will not be a Volvo. Will I buy one in the future? Maybe. I don't know. This is change. So, Luciano. It must be on my end, but every time I watch a live video, I get constant interruptions. It's on my end too. It keeps going red screen. Good luck on a new journey. Appreciate that, Eduardo. Justin, do you think power only is the future for owner-op? As the ELD mandate hits us, I think power only is a great tool to have in your pocket. Is it the end-all be-all? No. Is it what everybody should do? No. I think you should have your own direct freight as well. Okay? It's working great for us. It's allowing me to grow. It allows us to use the systems that these companies that we do power only with, it allows us to use their systems to reduce our operating costs. So power only is great, but it's not going to be available for everybody, and not everybody should do it anyway. But it's definitely something that's great to have, and is allowing me right now at this current time to grow. Okay, that may change in the future. The future power only might suck. Who knows? I said before, things are always changing, and you have to find the path that's going to work for your business today. Okay, what somebody did yesterday that worked good might not work good today, and vice versa. Okay, so things are always changing. You have to be proactive in looking at different business opportunities to grow your business exponentially. Okay, you always want to try to branch out into different areas, but you also want to be careful doing that because you don't want to spread yourself Would you do a lease purchase again? Yes, I would, because I'm going to cover more on that in my volume business video that I'll be doing soon. But ultimately, in a volume business, you just want the lowest payments possible on your equipment every week, so you have the cash flow coming in. It's volume, okay? The more trucks you, the more money you make. Doesn't matter how you acquire the trucks. When you're looking at a volume business, it does not matter how you get the trucks. What matters is how much are you paying each week for that truck. So if you can get a lease purchase deal that brings your truck payment down to, say, only $600 a week or $500 a week, that's a good deal to grab that truck. Now you can hire another driver and have another truck running on your fleet for only $500 a week for that truck payment, right? So in a volume business, that it makes sense to do it makes sense to do another lease purchase. Now, in a single truck operation, it doesn't necessarily make sense to do a lease purchase, but it can still be done successfully, like I have shown in other videos that I did, and it is a path, an option for somebody to take if they don't have the credit necessary to get a decent loan on a new truck or even a used truck. So that's the biggest problem with people saying, oh, go to the dealership. Well, if they have mediocre credit, then they will actually end up paying more for the truck if they have bad credit or minimal credit, because their interest rate's going to be like 20% on the loan, right? You end up paying $250,000, $260,000 for a brand new truck, versus if you did a lease purchase, you only end up paying $180 for it, right? So you have to do what makes sense for your business, and there's so many factors to it. I can't decide for you whether or not you should do a lease purchase. You have to decide. And ultimately, if you make the wrong choice, that's on you, right? So anyway, yes, I would do a lease purchase again as a volume business. As the business grows, it's less, the more trucks you have on the fleet, and as long as the freight's paying good and everything and your costs are less than your profit, your operating costs are less than your gross revenue, then you're still in business, right? That's what we call profit. As long as you're making a profit and you can add another truck, whether you add it as a lease purchase, or you buy it from a dealer, that truck is still going to make you money and allow you to grow further. Okay, that's the point. It's like, oh, you don't own all your equipment, you're in debt, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, you leverage debt in order to create jobs, create revenue, and make profit, okay? Eventually, you take these steps using your business credit, leveraging debt in order to get to a place where you can be ultimately debt-free and have a large-scale business that generates millions of dollars a year. You don't get to that in under 20 years unless you actually do leverage some debt. Okay, so just for a quick review, at least 5 years. If you start from zero, at least 5 years of a single truck operation to get to the point where you can actually start growing a fleet. If you come in with 50 grand, it might take you 2 years to actually get the ball rolling and have things going. RST, for example, came in with a significant investment, and that's how they were able to grow as quickly as they were. Okay, that's the difference between starting at zero and starting with cash. Okay, if you come in with a lot of cash, maybe your aunt or your grandma died and left you a bunch of money, and now you want to build a business with that money, you're in the green now. Okay, you got cash to come in the business. You're in a much better position than somebody who's starting out at zero like I did. That's the only way you're going to have less than 5 years to get to this point, is if you have money to invest already. Okay, so that's why a lot of people will tell you, hey, you should be a company driver until you have, you know, a pile of money saved up so you can invest to start a business, so you can kickstart your business. Okay, I didn't have a kickstart for my business. I had to start from scratch, one load at a time, saving up money. Chris said, I got LaShawn driving on ice right now. I apologize for the connection issues. It's Verizon. They keep throttling back my data. Is it better to grow with a company or get own authority for a fleet? That's up to you. Okay, me personally right now, I think it's better for me with only 3 trucks running, right, to grow with another company. So now eventually my growth will be so much that I'll eventually branch off and I'll have my own tree, right? At the moment, I'm just a branch on somebody else's tree that's growing out. Eventually, that branch will be big enough to transplant on its own. You have to decide when is the right time to do that, okay? That's how I'm looking at it, okay? There's nothing wrong with growing on somebody else's tree until you can go on your own. That umbrella, having that umbrella that say of the other entity, that will minimize the amount of risk you're taking in the business and allow you to grow faster and safer. Okay, now a lot of people let their ego and their emotions get involved with this business. Like, I gotta go on my own, I gotta get my own authority and do everything by myself. It's gonna take them a lot longer to get that fleet because they're so boneheaded. They don't realize the systems that they can utilize. I have no idea what Rob is doing, if he's going to do any videos or not. I would love to come to RST, but I want to pick my own freight as an owner-op. Like I said earlier, we're working on a system to be able to do that. Can you do a video of what the fixed cost and variable cost as a lease driver with RST? No, I cannot, because I am not a lease driver with RST, so I do not have that data at hand. I am not... I am not in RST's lease program, so I do not have accurate numbers of what, of how that is working out. You would have to ask somebody who's doing that. Will you be adding flatbed? Not at this time. I'm not. RST has a flatbed side for owner ops and lease drivers, but I'm not at this time going to be doing any flatbed stuff except for the Canada and Alaska freight, because it's already strapped and tarped and whatnot. And that, you know, with the Carlisle freight, I don't have to provide flatbed equipment. It's already there. What's going on, Jack? In one of your videos, you mentioned how to drive for fuel efficiency. Unfortunately, you said that video was on Facebook. Can you re-elaborate how you do that on here for the up-and-coming owner-ops? I will do a separate video on that, because we're already getting a little long in the tooth here. I'm going to write that down right now, okay? Driving for fuel. Let's see. My fuel economy hasn't been that great lately, but it's probably because I've been hammering down everywhere. Hey Woody, what's up? How's the new truck doing? As far as I know, it's doing pretty damn good. I haven't heard any complaints out of my driver about the truck. So he actually loves the truck and it's doing great. He's been running recap hours for a while now, making us pretty good money and making it to where we can pay him good money and all that good stuff. Is RST going to hire drivers with less than 3 years? Yes. As I stated earlier, our new requirements will be somewhere around and the signal is horrible. Our new requirements will be around 18-month experience level. Okay, so we may make an exception to that. We can make our own policies when it comes to that. Maybe a case-by-case basis based on the driver's record and their knowledge of the industry, experience, etc., 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 driving records, all that stuff is going to come into play when it comes to hiring new drivers. But we no longer have the 3-year requirement. Yeah, so no longer have the 3-year requirement. Get with us come the end of February. March, April is when we should be adding more trucks. Currently, right now, we do not have a position available. So I would love to put you in a truck tomorrow, but I don't have one available to put you in. And neither does ours at this time. We're getting really close to the end of the year, so you'll definitely call in February. I appreciate that. I think RST has a waiting list. As far as I know, I have a waiting list. I got people that want to get in an automatic truck, which I'm looking forward to getting some of those. It's just money, right? You know, just gotta buy another truck. Can I bring my truck? You can bring your truck to RST, but same thing. We're getting really close to the end of the year. They'll probably be late January before they can add more owner ops. You guys will have to talk to Chris about that. If you have any that, you can always go to the website RST Riverside. If you have any questions about adding a truck, bringing a truck over here, you can go to rstriverside.com. There's a lot of information under the menu for owner ops side. All right. Yeah, Verizon really sucks tonight. I don't know what to do about it, because when it's clear, and then it's either clear or nothing. Like I don't know what's wrong with it. But anyway, I'm gonna shut this down. If you missed anything, please the replay after it processes and cuts out all the interruptions. But I gotta go. I gotta turn this thing off before it drives me nuts with the interruptions. And I have another video coming out. I got more stuff coming out soon. I wrote some stuff down here. So, you know, you guys stay safe out there. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me on Instagram, Facebook, or right here on YouTube. Leave a comment below, all that kind of stuff. Stay safe out there, and try not to die.